Hi and welcome. My name's Jane. So today's health talk, we're going to talk about nutrition. Now, nutrition is something that we all know quite a lot about. There's a lot of programs, a lot of information out there. We all know what we should eat, but do we actually eat it? So I just want to give us a quick reminder. Here's a plate full of food. If you imagine your plate divided into thirds, so we want to have a third here. This is my carbohydrate. So I've got some pasta noodles here. A third for my protein. So here I've got some tuna. And a third for your fruit and vegetables. So here I've got a lovely collection, a multicolored collection of fruit and vegetables. So this is the sort of stuff you want to be eating. However, this is quite a large plate. Now, if I had a smaller plate, that might not all fit on there. So it does depend a lot on the size of your plate for your portion sizes. So just be aware of that. Maybe measure your plate. It wants to be about 9 inches diameter. That's an ideal size. The other thing you can do is use your hand or portion size. So for example, here we are. I've got about a handful there of my carbs. So usually if I was doing rice or pasta, I would take sort of 2 handfuls. Again, think of that third of your plate. Your protein should be about the size of your palm. So all our hands are different sizes. And again, if you're a larger person, a man with a big hand, you're going to want more protein. So about the size of your own palm. Okay. Protein can be meat, fish. It can be your lentils if you're vegetarian. So all sorts of different types of protein. And then your vegetables or fruit. Again, you want a generous third of your plate. And as I showed you here, multicolored. So we've got greens, we've got oranges, we've got yellows, and that helps you get all the vitamins and minerals that you need. So if you're not sure, measure it. Otherwise, palm of your hand is a good guess, or look at the size of your plate. Everyone reacts differently to food. So for example, diabetics react quite differently to carbohydrates. So we're often saying that you should have wholemeal or brown bread, wholemeal or brown pasta, all those sorts of healthier choices. But actually for diabetics, they do better to have a low carb diet. So for example, swapping their white potato for a sweet potato. And instead of rice, things like cauliflower rice. So if you want more information on that, have a look at the diabetics website or the NHS website and look at low carbs for diabetics. And it has proven to help them to lose weight and to control their blood sugar levels better. But it's not for everyone. So again, each diet suits each person differently. So you've got to find what works best for you. Everything in moderation is what I say. So a little bit of what you fancy, but make sure it is just a little bit and not regular. Healthy eating. We all know we should also drink 2 litres of water a day. We should include protein with most meals and some healthy fats. So this could be your oily fish, or it could be some olive oil drizzled or cooked on. You could have healthy nuts and seeds. It's important to have some healthy oils as well. You can use a smaller plate, as I've already said, and think about splitting that plate into portion sizes. Other ways we can eat healthily is to eat slowly, the word being mindful eating. So chew your food, enjoy it. Try eating without the television on. Try and increase your fruit and veg portions. So the recommending guidelines used to be 5. Nowadays, we're aiming to try and get 9 because we're not getting enough vitamins and minerals. So on my plate there, I've got 4 portions. So that's not too bad. You can include it in your breakfast, add fruit to your breakfast. Another way people like to add their fruit and veg portions is to make smoothies or juices. Just be careful on the sugar quantities of those. For example, if you were having a glass of orange juice for breakfast, you might well be actually having the equivalent of 5 oranges. And think, would you actually eat 5 oranges in one go or even in one day? Probably not. So it's better probably to have a vegetable juice. Try and reduce the sugar in your diet. So have a look at what you're eating, what your packaging's saying. Limit the amount of processed foods, takeaway foods, ready meals. They're not as healthy for you. Higher in salt, higher in saturated fat, less vitamins and minerals. Try and increase your fibre. So we've already talked about your carbs being brown carbs, but also fruit and vegetables, that has lots of carbs in that. Lots of fibre in that. It also is a carbohydrate. And include some strength training. So we spoke about strength training the other week. That helps your muscles as well. And try and reduce your alcohol limit. So lots of ways that you can eat healthy. And as I said, I'm not telling you anything you probably don't already know, just reminding you. Our weight is affected not just by what we eat though, but how we exercise. It's also affected by our gender, our age, our hormones, our stress levels, whether we're sleeping enough, what medication we're on. So all these things come into play. It's not just about what you're eating. So have a little think on that and let me know how you're getting on.